the college football preview show. We got some hidden gems that y'all might not even think about. Come on in. It's MoneyPot Sports. Let's go. Hey guys, this is your favorite neighborhood. Welcome everybody back for another episode of the college football preview show. I am the host. I am the CEO. They call me Moss Money, and we got a great week of college football. Week 9 coming up, and like I said before, we got some hidden gems that we have out here, and some game previews that might not be the best game previews that everybody else is talking about, but we're talking about them because we see that we feel like we have a side to choose from in those. And you look below, we change the way how we do things. We change the way of how we say things on this show. So that's going to be our key. So you know what I'm talking about and how I'm talking about it for these preview shows. I used to bring up things like the sports book, but we don't anymore. We go to ESPN. We do a real true game preview, give our sides, give our takes and things like that. Rotten solo tonight. So stick with me. Hopefully we can keep this entertaining, not blah, blah, blah this and blah, blah, blah that, but get you in and get you out. And let's talk about it. All right. So let's bring up the handy dandy ESPN. And let's start off right out the gate, baby. 12 o'clock. Mr. Kirk Signetti, Mr. Skipper, head to head. Big 10 game? A really big 10 game? UCL Bruins, the surprising surging Bruins after Deshaun Foster had got fired. They switched out their OC. They switched out their DC, taking on those Hoosiers. Unbeaten, 7-0, 4-0 in Big Ten competition. Man, does UCLA have another upset watch in them? Not so fast, my friends. Not so fast. This one's going to be a really interesting game. And I say that because I do believe that UCLA has some of the firepower from their running and their rushing and how they're doing it from an offensive side of being able to at least keep pace with the Indiana Hoosiers. Now, the Hoosiers are the cream of the crop, led by Mendoza, who is their top. Is he the top? I guess he would be the top quarterback and probably the leading candidate for the Heisman at this point, having a phenomenal year, 21 touchdowns, 2 picks, almost 1,800 yards. And that defense is daunting. That defense is very, very daunting going down to Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana. Look at the games back. The last couple games. Let me zoom in just a little bit here so you guys can see. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Looking at the last opponents, you can see some like opponents here, right? With Michigan State, look at that. Both teams beat them by the same amount. Big game here by UCLA beating Maryland. I actually called on my previous week. I thought Maryland was going to win this game. Late score here that kind of put UCLA over. Actually, no. Yeah, late field goal. I think it was a late field goal that put UCLA over. But, hey, 3 wins in a row with the new offensive change. And this is the big one, right? Right when Penn State was ranked 7th in the nation, they beat Penn State at home, which is crazy. Now, they go on the road to Indiana, obviously tough place to play. And you can see the scores, right? 38-13, 63-10, 73-10. Just bombing on people at home. Obviously, you see the names and the numbers. Nico on the other side of that, 10 touchdowns, 5 picks. Looking really efficient in that offense. They know how to use Nico and that new look offense, dimp and dunk, taking what he wants, and then Nico using his legs. One of the better quarterbacks in the nation at the moment, in my opinion, and getting every penny of it when he transferred from Tennessee to here now. You guys can see who is the underdog here, or who is the top contender here as well, and what those numbers say. So for my preview on this game, what I'm looking at here is I'm going with the dogs. Oh, oh, oh. I think they keep this game close enough. I do not think they go into Indiana and beat Indiana. I do not think they have enough to beat Indiana. Indiana's defense is really, really good. But I think offensively, this game is going to be tighter than what people think. And I think this game is going to be a lot closer than what people think. I can't talk about the statistics because the first 3 games of UCLA was really, really, really bad from a statistical standpoint. So we can only look back at the last 3 games. And the last 3 games just told me they can score. If they can, Penn State's defense has obviously faltered of late because it's just been crashing downhill. But at the time when they played Penn State was one of the better defenses. Now, they didn't really play anybody, but still, statistically, they were one of the better defense, and UCLA was able to drop, a 40 burger on them, if I'm not mistaken. 42 on them. We already know Michigan State. You can see the like. And the Terps are actually decent, right? Tough win right here against the Terps. But you see 3 different phases, right? You see answering the challenge against Penn State, being 1-4, having the 7th ranked team, no chance to win, go out and win outright. Then you go to Michigan State and you win against a bad Michigan State team. And then you have the expectation of to win the next game because you've been on a run, and you answer the call in a tough game against a balanced Maryland Terps team. So when you look at all that, this team is better than what people think they are. And I think they show up again against the Hoosiers, and I think they keep this game close. I do not think the Bruins are going to lose by 4 touchdowns. That's what that is saying to me right here. That's the total outlook of the score here, is that saying that the Hoosiers are going to win by 4 touchdowns. You got to score almost 28 points. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this game is a lot closer. I can see it being maybe like 28 to like 13. Maybe 30-21. I do think the Hoosiers will win this game by double digits, but I think UCLA has enough to keep this game close. So in my first preview, give me the Bruins to keep this thing close. Start off week 8 early. Tough start time too. Remember, this is a West Coast team traveling east too, when you think about that. But they just went to Michigan, so it's not like they haven't done it before. I don't know when that time was. It was a 12 o'clock start time, kind of a setup for UCLA, because that means that would be like 9 o'clock their time, right? So a little bit tough, but I think the Bruins can keep this game close. All right, let's go to the next game on our preview list. Going down the list here, we'll take off top 25. Looking at FBS, got a game tonight. Just football every day. There's football every day. It's football. Love it, love it, love it. I know some people are looking at some games like, damn, that's a good game that I like. Well, not me. I told you we got some gems today. We got some gems that we're going to be looking at. This is an interesting game. Bama, South Carolina. Another interesting game. Missouri, Vandy. The line is very telling here. Very telling. It's a Missouri number there, just to be honest. And even Iowa State. I think there's an injury here, though. I think that's why that's like that. Didn't get a chance. Here we go. This is a team that, for my next preview, this is a team that I've been looking at a lot, right? And that's the Temple Owls. And when I'm looking at the Temple Owls, when you look at the beginning of the Temple Owls, they really should be 5-2, right? This Navy game was a walk-off running touchdown with like 20 seconds left. He ran like a 60-yard touchdown. It was ridiculous, right? But if you look at their schedule, they got beat up by top 10, top 15 teams, right? Especially as we are now, right? Georgia Tech, Let me look it up real quick. I think Georgia Tech is like, what is it, 16th, 15th in the nation or something like that. Yeah, seventh, right? Yeah, they were all the way up to seventh. So when you look at that, I knew they were higher. When you look at that for Georgia Tech, that's crazy, right? Back to back top ranked teams, and I think OU at the time was even ranked. So that's a tough. That's tough. But you look at Tulsa. I mean, Oklahoma State is 1-6. Tulane, Memphis is a tough team. They lost to ECU, right? Obviously, like teams in Nevada and Navy beat them up. So we're looking at the like situations here, especially in Navy. See, Temple answered the bell again. That should have been a win by Temple. Tulsa, not so much. Tough, right? 0-4 in the American League right now. So I mean, it's tough because you know it's a little scary, and I think that's why the line is like that a little bit. But when you think about it, I mean, man, the line to be Temple's favorite on the road, it was at 6.5. They're calling for it to come down a little bit, but man, I mean, Tulsa is terrible against the run, right? Let me bring up their look real quick. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're like 130th in the nation. Last when I was looking at it, like it's bad. They are bad against the run. Yeah, so Tulsa is giving up 217 yards passing, almost 411 yards a game, but they're giving up 193 rushing yards per game, right? That is almost at the bottom, if not the bottom. They are the bottom 15th in rush defense. And guess what? Guess what Temple's good at? Temple is good at running the ball, right? Temple is very good at running the ball. Temple averages, let's see, I think almost 192 yards per game, right? Top 50, if I'm not mistaken, and running the ball. So you got bad defense against the rush. You got good offense against the rush. Passing, 172, I'm sorry. Top 50 and rushing the ball. They don't do crazy in terms of the pass. They're only passing 215, 209 yards per game. So that's not a big miss, but man. And then Tulsa's offense, like Tulsa really can't run the ball. So you got the good side of what Tulsa does. Again, I'm sorry, the bad side of what Tulsa does against the good side of what Temple does. And then I got a Temple team who's faced top talent, haven't fared well, but beat everybody else that they needed to beat. And then in like talent that they've had, they were the bigger outcomes more than than Tulsa. So to me, I really like Temple here. I think Temple gets it done with this one. I wouldn't mind a little bit of total score output by the Temple Owls going up into the moon with that. But I think Temple, even though the top contender number has now dipped, I don't mind the dip as much as maybe other people do. And I like the Owls here to get it done because I think the Owls are going to score. Like that's what the Owls do. They kind of run up the score when you look at them a little bit when you think about it. So I like the Temple Owls here. Come on home, bring it back home to Philly, brother. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, Temple. All right. Let's go to another game on the slate. I guess we can. My other two, are they top two? No, they're not. They're not top. I think the one is a later game. I know this one. This one is going to be a easy call. I think we see this one coming. 7 o'clock game, baby, out in Eugene. Gonna be a little chilly, maybe off the water. I mean, I'm just gonna say what it is. Wisconsin is terrible, like simply terrible. They've been blanked twice. Now Ohio State ain't no pusher. Like Ohio State is tough, right? But Iowa is tough too. Can't say it or not. Michigan, I think Haynes was playing that game, so there's Michigan. Maryland, like I said, talked about it earlier, balanced team, and then Bama. You know, over the last 5 games, 0-0, 20, 34 points. Over the last 5 games, you average that out, they've only scored a touchdown a game. And the last 2, they got blanked. And you got to go to Eugene. And now you got to play the Oregon Ducks, who are a top 5 team in my book. With D Moore playing out of his mind, 19 touchdowns, 4 picks on their fast track in their house. This is setting up to be an ass whooping. Every bit of this seems right. Each way you want to look at it seems right. I do not think the Wisconsin Badgers are going to score again. I would be looking at things like that. So that is the total outcome of that team. We're going to go under the water on that one, right? That's what we're looking at. We're going to go way under the water on that one. There's probably something out there that says they don't score a touchdown. I would be looking at that. No touchdown scored by the Wisconsin Badgers. The Ducks see that they've been blanked twice, and they're going to want to do it again. Like as a defensive player, when you know a bad team's coming in, it's just like these guys should not score on us. There's no way they should even touch the field that we walk on. We should blow them out the water, and we should have a good time. This is when I get my money. This is when I get my stats up. I'm looking at sacks. I'm looking at touchdowns. This is where I go get it. That's what I'm looking at if I'm the Oregon Ducks. That's how I see that game. So under the water on that. And then we double dip on this one. We like quack, straight up. Quack, quack. Top contender there. Got to take that. They get to that number maybe by halftime. Because you got to think about it. How is Wisconsin going to move the ball in this game? They're not going to be able to throw. Might be able to do some run work. Doubt it. Like, we talking about a really good defense. Not, like top 5 type defense. They're only giving up 130 yards passing, which is tops in the league, I think, in the nation. So you ain't going to pass the ball. And they're only giving up maybe 100 yards, kind of middling the pack, giving up 14 points a game, right? Like, at home, Oklahoma State 69-3, Oregon State 41-7, right? They lost the big one to Indiana, but we talking about Indiana. This ain't, you know what I mean? This ain't, second in the nation, Indiana. Not, Wisconsin Badgers, 131st in the nation. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, this is going to be an ugly game. I'm wearing all my cool colors if I'm Oregon. You know what I mean? Give me the prettiest uniform you can think of, because we're going to be pretty out there. Moore has 4 touchdowns damn near in this game. They might curtain call him. They're going to have to. This game's going to get ugly. And Wisconsin knows it. Right? They're going to come in this game like damn, we're going to get our asses whipped. Now, some people are like, hey, we're going to shock the world. Not today. Not today. No, sirree. And for my last preview of the day, late night, Prime time. Prime time. Those Colorado Buffaloes going to the Utah Utes. Big 12 action. Last game of the slate. Now, the Buffaloes have been a little bit better than what people have thought, especially with that game, with that switch in quarterback. Has Salter come? Did they go back to Salter? I thought it was the other guy. Salter was the starter. I swear it was a white guy. Yeah, it was Staub. Yeah, I'm not tripping. I know what I was talking about. Ryan Staub. Yeah, there it is. So he must have got the axe. I didn't know he got the axe, or he got hurt, or he must have got hurt in this Houston game, and then went to Salter. I like it even more that it's Salter, and what I'm looking at in this preview. Stop watching Colorado Buffalo games, but I know the team though. I know the team. Now they just beat Iowa State at home, right? But the one thing about this Buffalo team versus with Shador and Hunter and Horn that was there last year, they're really, really balanced. Really, really balanced. And look, they played some two teams tough, right? Top 25 teams tough, right? They played BYU tough. Obviously at TCU, they got beat up and then they came back home. And I think this was a shocking win and beat Iowa State. So, and Utah ain't no slouch, right? When you look at the Utah Teps, good dynamic quarterback, Dampier, I think is his name. Dampier, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, leads them, kind of dual back guy, and then led by Daly. Utah's always been great defensive type team, right? Always been. That's just that's their MO. So, but in this, and they've always been great, from a pass defense standpoint. But that's not how the Colorado's built, right? They're not built, on passing the ball. They're a very balanced team. So what I'm looking at in my preview in this game is that I'm looking at Colorado's total output here as a team, and I'm looking at going under the water of that. I think this is a boxy type game. I think it's going to be a close game. Both these teams know each other from the Pac-12, so there's no, there's not like they don't know each other. And I think that, let me go back here. I want to see something. Where's Utah sit? I think Utah's up there. I thought Utah was up there. And I'm pretty sure. Utah's what, top 25 in defense, giving up on 155 yards passing, 150. They do give up a good amount on the ground, and 150. But like I said, I don't feel like Colorado's a threat to Utah. Now, this could be a scary game because, again, Colorado has played up to their competition. Colorado has been able to play up to their competition, again, against BYU and Iowa State. Results in that BYU game that just came off, being 2-2, Big 12. Colorado needs this, right? They need this. They need a win big time in Big 12 games. But I think Utah is going to be able to score a little bit of points here against that Colorado Buffaloes defense. Even though I like the Colorado Buffaloes defense, I think they'll be able to score a little bit of points here. Colorado might even have an advantage with the offensive line, though. You know what I mean? Got some big boys up front finally. But like I said, I don't think Colorado is going to be able to score as much, even though Salter's back under center and been doing, it looks like, a little bit pretty well here. But he's not a guy that's going to like just blow up, right? You look, he hovers around a lot, 60% completions. He's been playing well of late, right? 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. You got to keep that. Hasn't been sacked a lot. And when you look at it, only 217 yards in Iowa State, 255 yards. So he's a guy who can kind of throw, but he uses his legs a lot. And if you could see in the games before, he scored a touchdown on his legs and everything. So that's where he really affects. He can make him. He's not a big guy, like more of a smaller type guy. So like I said again, I don't think they're going to be able to score as much against this Utah defense. I even think the total scoring output from both teams, I kind of think, kind of under the water there when you think about it. I think, I think it's a boxy type game. And I do really like those previews, and I really like this matchup because I think it's going to be a really good matchup. And I don't expect a lot of scoring in this game. And I think out of the two, who's going to have the hardest time scoring, I think it's going to be the Colorado Buffaloes. So, with that being said, that is my preview. Here we go. That is my preview for college football. Week 9. Doing it solo, baby. Sometimes you got to get up and do it your damn self, man. For those who stuck around and watched the whole show, man, I appreciate you guys and how we rebranding things and things are starting to pick up. So make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the join button. Hit the join button. Become a Money Team member. You can get on the show with us and actually have conversations about what you like in terms of your previews for college football or any of our shows that we have here on MoneyPot Sports. So for myself, I'm Moss Money. This is MoneyPot Sports. Happy hunting. Good luck, everybody.